What if the dawn of the 2025-26 NBA season isn't just another chapter for the Golden State Warriors, but the prelude to a seismic shift that could reshape the very essence of the franchise and the league itself? Welcome back to Warriors News, fan report where raw truths collide with splash-era passion. Smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so your heart never misses a beat. The rumors swirling through the NBA grapevine right now are anything but ordinary, and they all orbit around a name that has haunted and inspired fans for nearly 2 decades. LeBron James, the future of this legendary figure in purple and gold, is suddenly the hottest riddle as we approach the tipping point of another offseason. And if the whispers are true, the Golden State Warriors, the team that redefined basketball in the 2010s, may once again be circling the King's throne. It's no secret that discussions about a potential LeBron trade involving the Warriors have flickered now and then, but the flames are rekindling with ferocity after his agent, Rich Paul, dropped a statement following LeBron's decision to pick up his player option for the 2026 season, remarks that suggested a win-now mindset tinged with uncertainty about the Lakers' off-season moves, opening the door ever so slightly to a possible exit. And the Warriors? As Brian Windhorst and Ramona Shelburne from ESPN revealed, those internal talks from 2023 to 24 about pursuing LeBron haven't vanished into thin air. Rather, the front office has revisited the tantalizing possibility of making an offer that could shake the NBA landscape like a seismic shock. Imagine the gravity of a scenario where Steph Curry, the Polaris of Dub Nation, stands shoulder to shoulder with a 4-time champ and one of the most physically dominant presences the game has ever seen. Could this not only elevate the Warriors back to their dynastic heights, but also rewrite the very definition of what it means to build a team in the modern NBA? Yet, here's where the plot thickens. LeBron's no-trade clause effectively hands him the veto power to choose his destination, transforming any prospective deal into a question of alignment, chemistry, and mutual desire, and surely no surprise that the Warriors will be a prime destination if the King ever chooses to leave LA. Financially, however, this chess match is a labyrinth of complexity. LeBron's monumental $52.6 million salary doesn't just piece together easily, especially for a team that is already strapped beyond Jimmy Butler being a necessary part of the salary matching equation. The Warriors would need to pull off a strategic wizardry to make this work, possibly moving Butler or engineering a deal so intricate it could rewrite the salary cap rules as we know them. And don't forget, the Lakers trading LeBron inside the same division is a beast of a storyline, all on its own historic rivalries, playoff implications, and bruised egos, all fanning the flames of why such a move might be a hard sell for the purple and gold franchise. But what if the standard scripts don't apply here? What if LeBron, with nothing but burning ambition and a sharp eye on legacy, nudges the boundaries of his clause to team up with Steph, Draymond, and Klay, aiming for that elusive ultimate splash-era championship dance? Think about it. A Warriors team with LeBron's strategic mind and physical dominance would redefine not only the offense, but the entire tempo of the game. The possibilities would be endless. LeBron orchestrating pick and rolls with Steph popping out for deep threes, Draymond pushing the break while LeBron sprints the lane, Klay finally freed up from his defensive burdens to focus on what he does best, catching and shooting with surgical precision. The floor spacing? Devastating. The basketball IQ? Off the charts. The leadership and championship pedigree? Unmatched. This will be the ultimate convergence of experience, swagger, and finesse. And let's not forget Bronny. LeBron's public declaration of wanting to play alongside his son still lingers. And while Bronny's future is still being molded, the Warriors' player development and culture could offer one of the safest and most high-profile environments for that dream to eventually materialize. What better place than the Bay, with its history of building young stars and surrounding them with elite mentorship for that next generation to rise? And yet, for every dream this scenario invites, there's a flip side steeped in risk. LeBron will be 41 by the end of that contract. His minutes will need careful management. His presence could shift the locker room dynamics, disrupt the Kerr system built on motion and unselfish ball movement. Will he buy into the Warriors' culture fully? Will Steph's usage dip in ways that hurt more than help? Will the cost of acquiring LeBron gut the roster to the point that depth becomes a fatal flaw come playoff time? The trade could require parting with not just Butler, but potentially Kuminga or Moody, or future draft capital that would otherwise help the Dubs navigate the inevitable post-Curry years. Are we willing to mortgage a piece of tomorrow to chase one last glorious today? And on the Lakers' end, are we witnessing the quiet sunset of the LeBron era? Their pursuit of Luka Doncic signals a potential torch passing, a new direction that could finally close the door on a historic chapter in Laker lore. LeBron has delivered a bubble title, injected relevance into a team that had lost its shine post-Kobe, and carried a franchise through years of identity crisis. But every empire fades. And LeBron, more than anyone, understands timing. If he senses the sands of the hourglass running out in L.A., if he sees Steph and the Warriors as his final best shot at title number 5, could he not force destiny's hand just one more time? Picture the Chase Center on opening night, the arena lights dimmed, the crowd roaring in anticipation. And then, as the starting lineup is announced, Steph and LeBron walk out side by side. The roar? Deafening. The headlines? Global. The implications? Historic. This wouldn't just be a basketball season. It'd be a movement, a cultural lightning bolt across sports, business, and entertainment. It would dominate narratives, shift power, and awaken a new kind of rivalry with every elite team. Denver, Boston, Milwaukee, Dallas scrambling to decode the Bay's new blueprint. No one would be ready. And that's exactly why it could work. But here's the real question. Do the Warriors, a franchise forged on culture and continuity, risk disrupting the very identity that brought them success to chase one final supernova? Or do they stand pat, confident in the process, waiting for the younger generation to take the torch from Steph the right way, the organic way? That's the real war at hand, between legacy and urgency, between patience and ambition, between building and blitzing. And it's a battle being waged in every corner of the front office, every film room session, every whisper between agents and executives. Because once the trigger is pulled, there's no going back. So what will it be, Dub Nation? Are we ready to crown the king in blue and gold and make one last push for glory? Or is this all smoke, a mirage dancing on the edge of July rumors, never to materialize? Either way, something massive is shifting beneath the surface. You can feel it. And I'll be right there in the comments, reading every take, arguing every angle, holding this team accountable like always. Because when you're part of this community, you don't just watch history, you bleed for it. Now, let's talk. What do you see coming next? If you felt that electric jolt hit your chest like a buzzer beater from Steph, or the raw sting of hearing Draymond's name in trade rumors for the first time in 7 years, you're not alone. This offseason feels like the ground beneath. Dub Nation is shifting faster than the Warriors' offense in transition. And something primal inside us knows that the next few months aren't just about basketball. They're about identity. The whispers of a LeBron to Golden State reality still echo like a half-remembered dream. But now they're louder, sharper, slicing through the doubts and it can happen murmurs like a dagger forged in Chase Center fire. Imagine this. Curry, who's already carved his name in the Mount Rushmore of the game, now shoulder to shoulder with a player whose career has been a living montage of clutch moments, relentless will, and monumental legacy quests, the king no less walking into the locker room where the air smells like championship sweat and whispered, "What if?" The split-second looks exchanged between Steph and Draymond when the news broke internally. Did you catch Dre's grimace? That's the face of a warrior wrestling, with the idea of sharing the spotlight with a legend who's both a peer and a challenger to the throne. And what about Clay? The silent assassin who's seen his role morph from sniper to mentor, His magic threes now tools not just for winning games, but for preserving the soul of a team that has been through every iteration of glory and gasps. There's something both thrilling and terrifying about merging legacies. What if this risks fracturing the chemistry Kerr painstakingly rebuilt after the KD exodus? Remember the delicate alchemy that birthed the Splash Brothers? The fearless defense of Draymond that's as much heart as hustle? Add a colossal personality like LeBron into this mix, not as a reluctant visitor, but as a potential co-conspirator for another dynasty, and suddenly the locker room becomes a crucible of ambition, ego, and unspoken code. But here's what twists the knife. The salary cap gymnastics required could peel apart the roster layers we've clung to like life rafts. The possibility of moving Jimmy Butler, who's been a necessary bridge player in this in-house chess game, sheds light on a brutal reality. This isn't just about acquiring talent. It's about sacrifice, and that's where the emotional stakes rocket beyond trade value and stats. Because Butler's toughness, his grit, has been the heartbeat of this team's recent playoff pushes. Imagine the void if he's packaged off for the Kings' coronation. Are we trading more than players? Are we trading the very identity that's kept us rooting deep through droughts and injuries? And then there are the rising stars Kuminga, Moody, Wiggins' young guns who sprinted through flashes of brilliance, but whose long-term place in this swirling storm is shrouded in uncertainty. Does the arrival of LeBron accelerate their growth or cloud their horizons? Is Kerr prepared to coach a revamped roster that might look more like a super team experiment than the fluid, weapons-laden dynasties of the past? Speaking of Kerr, there's tension beneath the surface you won't hear on ESPN soundbites, the kind that drips from the bench, the kind that weighs heavy in player meetings. Kerr's legacy is intertwined with the Warriors' rise, but navigating the ego dynamics of a lineup featuring two transcendent ballers beyond any era's typical limit might test even his zen-like diplomacy. Is he ready for a cultural reset? Or will the whisper of recent struggles, those first-round scares after years of dominance, turn into a full-blown avalanche once the star power inflates and deflates in the same breath? And let's not gloss over the Lakers' side of the equation. LeBron's looming final season in purple and gold feels less like a celebration and more like a countdown. With LA's flirtation with Luka Doncic and the obvious future built around the Slovenian phenom, the Lakers' silence on offering LeBron a real extension is deafening. What does that say about the franchise's belief in the Kings' continued reign there? And if LeBron does turn his gaze to Golden State, are we witnessing the birth of a narrative that's part redemption, part rebellion, and athlete rewriting? His twilight chapters under the banner of a team that embodies his own brand of excellence and revolution. There's also the divisional drama imagined, two of the NBA's defining franchises playing a trade of this magnitude with a finals berth literally hanging in the balance. Talk about pressure cooked with historical rivalry. The very concept could redefine intra-division politics, reshuffle playoff seeding narratives, and rewrite the script on what it means to be a dub. But let's zoom out for a moment. The Warriors of the 2020s have sported resilience built on adaptation. From Clay's texturia-shattering runs to Looney's gritty rebirth, from Wiseman's highs and lows to the relentless work ethic of younger Ducks trying to crack the code, this team's DNA has been about reinventing itself in the face of relentless change. This LeBron scenario, whether a blockbuster trade or a burning off the clock possibility, is the ultimate test of that credo. Can Golden State not just survive the seismic roster quake, but emerge from it with a new, even more electrifying dynasty? Or is this the moment that fractures the delicate bonds we've woven through years of splash, sweat, and moments that have become the anthems of our lives? As a Dub Nation fellow who has screamed with tears of joy and heartbreak from Oracle to Chase, someone who's seen the banners raised and the dynasty's cracks widen, I feel it in my bones this offseason is less about the moves on paper and more about the soul of the Warriors from now till forever. The heartbeat of this franchise has always been an undying pulse of courage and surprise, a refusal to bend beneath the weight of expectations and injuries. But now, with the possibility of the King stepping into our arena, the stakes are Everest. Aye, and the path forward is jagged with questions no analyst can answer. So, here's where I throw it back to you. My ride-or-die brothers and sisters in blue and gold, what does your gut say? Is this the making of the greatest Warriors team ever assembled? A seismic shift that turbocharges the chase for a seventh ring? Or is this the beginning of a dynasty's twilight? A gamble on legacy that risks everything we built? Drop your hottest, rawest thoughts below no filter. No holding back, and I'll be right there, deep in the trenches of Dub Nation, reading and replying. Because this ride is just heating up, and the only thing certain is that we're all hooked. Heart and soul.